Welcome to another meandering and chaotic episode of Cinematic Anarchy, where I am joined today by my co-host, Christian,
Hello.
and a now recurring guest, and Miss Beverly Price, Miss Stormy. How are you today?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Or I guess this afternoon, seeing as you're remoting in from the UK.
Yes.
And we are actually going to be discussing a film which was brought up to me during an interview that I did with Stormy just a little while back regarding her book, which I am remiss. I have not left in the background of the podcast this time, but I'll let you give yourself a little shout out, talk about your book, and then you can give us a nice synopsis of the film that we're going to be watching today, or talking about, having watched today, Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell.
Yes. Or A.K.A. Japanese Evil Dead.
Definitely a lot of influences of that there.
Yeah. So I did a book called The A to Z of So Bad They're Good, Bad, and Ugly horror films. And as soon as I came across the title of this film, as you said, The Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell, there's just the title just grabbed me, and you're like, yeah, I need to see this. This is going to be it's going to go into this book somewhere. Thankfully, it turned out to be, at least for me, a So Bad It's Good just gem. So the premise is, as the sort of subtitle implies, um, 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 an individual, his ex-girlfriend and a medium go to a house that they believe is haunted, and shit happens, really, basically. And it's not very much more of a plot than that, really. And by the end of it, the demons are defeated. The end.
Or are they?
Oh, they
Well,
always seem to come back in the sequel, if there ever will be a sequel to this.
yeah,
Well,
it took
considering
it so
this
long to do the
started
first one. If
filming,
there is a sequel, it'll be a long time in the future.
yeah, we're maybe 20, 30 years out from that.
Right?
Yeah.
This would be, the year of the 30th anniversary of this film.
Yeah. So it started filming in 95 and was a sort of labor of love that took a long time to actually get out. There were years and years of reshoots, people leaving and having to kind of work around that with some props and like Shemp work. But yeah, it was finished around like 2009, I think. Or all the reshoots were done in 2009. It was another year for editing, and it didn't get its first release until I believe around 2012 in Japan, and later on in.
So the actual DVD release was 2014. He released it himself on DVR in 2012. I think he made like a total of 100 copies that he wanted to get out into the world himself. I don't mean to step on your toes there.
No. Yeah, no, that did happen. And, obviously it gained some traction because eventually, I think in 2017, we got some international releases. And then finally, I don't remember if it was 2022 or 2023, we get the first US release.
Yeah, it was 2022. We didn't get we
Yeah.
we Yanks over here didn't get a release till 2022. So you guys got the privilege by 2017, thanks to, I guess, Terracotta Distribution, and they were like, "Yeah, you know what?"
It was, like on social media
what you
when
saw?
they advertised. Yeah, so when you get like social media and they plug in stuff, and then they were plugging Terracotta Distributions, and that was one of the films. And I was flicking through, going, "Oh, what films does this company have?" And it was that one. And then I think the other one that caught my eye, but was a little bit more expensive, was something like Big Titted Zombies or something. I was like, "Yeah, I feel like I'm going to buy more from this company at some point." But that, for a film I knew nothing about, I wasn't willing to pay £30 But bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell was only like £10. And I was going, okay, well, if it's bad, then that's not so much money to waste.
Big.
Yeah.
Did you just say big-titted zombies?
It was something along those lines, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, no, I was explaining to my wife the other day my intentions on buying a, multi-region, or I should say, region-free 4K Blu-ray player, because of the fact that while we do have some great companies that distribute things within the United States, such as Arrow Video, we have Vinegar Syndrome, Severin Entertainment, stuff like that. We have plenty of boutique companies. There are also things that don't get distributed directly to us that you people get over in the UK, they put out in Japan, that are just not things that I would be able to see otherwise. And if you look at the stacks of Blu-rays and DVDs that are over here, which I probably should shift to over here so other people can actually see it when I'm talking about it, uh, I collect a little too much, just a little. Uh, Not as much as some people. I've seen people with absolute walls and man caves just covered in stuff. But for my small apartment, I collect a little too much. And I have now put out an order for a copy of this, which I guess is out of print, but I got a copy on eBay that's still sealed. So,
Oh, no.
Well, there you go.
uh, so opening moments of this
It was
film sees
Shudder in the UK. Shudder were showing it in the UK, so it may come onto one of the streaming
Shutter.
services as well.
Oh, they have it on. I watched it on one of the streaming services. So I watched it on, I think Prime, which I have the.
Oh, right.
My brain is. I think it's AMC or MGM that has Shutter as part of its package. And
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. For folks out there, I mean, it's a fairly easy movie to find now, in contrast to when it first came out. It's on Tubi, it's on Plex as a free to watch movie. There's a version of it on YouTube as well, so you have plenty of options.
yeah, I mean, you don't have to go out and spend $30 on eBay to find a copy of this. You can find it plenty of places. I am just a physical media pack rat. So, uh, anyway, skipping into the actual movie itself, our opening moments, I don't think we get a lot of names in this film. I know we
Yeah,
get
that's why it's
Sinji
so
and
good.
Mika,
Yeah.
which made it a little tough for me to follow. I had to watch it a second time to realize that I wasn't looking at a philandering, muscle building asshole in the beginning, hitting on somebody that was now his ex. Uh, I thought that was him in the beginning, that he killed his own
Right.
Yeah.
psycho ex-girlfriend and moved on to the new ex-girlfriend or whatever. But no, this is the beginning is 30 years prior to the events of the actual Evil Dead mock-up, so to speak, uh, where we see Shinji's father, who is having a bit of a row with his, I want to say ex, but I thought it was maybe his mistress or something to that nature,
I thought it was
who was
his
trying to say
wife.
you're
I
not
thought it was Sinji's mother. I thought that was the point.
Shinji's mother.
That's why I thought it reacted to Sinji turning up there, because it was his mother. But I mean, I could be
Hmm.
wrong.
Okay, so I kind of, the way it could be read many different ways, because they took it fast and loose with the plot in this. The
Yes.
focus was not necessarily on that initial murder, but everything that happened as a consequence of that murder. Uh,
It would be some form of motherly love, that's for sure, if it is Shinji's mom.
and if not, it's the vengeance of
I
the
know.
mistress who's,
Like that.
because like I feel like he said he lost both of his parents. And so I feel
Yes, he
like
Definitely.
did.
maybe the guy that his mother or his father ended up, or the woman his father had ended up with, was his mother, and this was the woman that he was cheating on her with. Something to that nature. I don't know. I guess it could be interpreted either way. This is either mom or mistress, and either way, we end up with a bunch of claymation deadites because of it.
Yes.
The stop motion animation throughout this film was very interesting. The scenes with the blood being absorbed into the necklace were interesting. Uh,
Yes.
I don't regret having watched this movie at all. It was I don't think he was trying to take himself seriously. This was pure
Oh,
horror comedy from beginning to end.
yeah. Well, yeah, because
And
ultimately
at
he
an
was
hour
trying to
long,
copy that style, wasn't he? So it made sense that it had that comedic element to it.
Very
yeah.
true. I mean, this was an homage to many different things, not just the Evil Dead. You got a little bit of the old Hulk television show in it with him ripping his shirt off and
Yeah.
hulking out. A little bit of
Some Lou Ferrigno action.
a little bit of an homage to the Addams Family's Thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Hellraiser with like the body reconstruction
Uh-huh.
near the end.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. There was a lot. You could probably point to a lot of influences that were kind of scattered throughout this film. Uh,
And I wonder
don't
how
have any
many influences
reference.
effectively as well, because some of those references might have been so new at the point that he was filming them that he might have then put them in that sort of period of him changing it or waiting for the technology to catch up that he went, oh, well, that's now become really popular. I now might add that into it, especially like I said, the Frank being near the end, with Hellraiser being relatively new at the time that that film was being filmed. It might have been
And
a later influence.
if I'm not mistaken, he wrote this and started filming this well before the murderous Ghost Girl craze.
Yes.
Like this is a little while before that even really picked up steam, before you started seeing stuff like Ring and The Grudge and all that stuff. So he may have been ahead of his time with this goofy film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This predates Ringu by a few years. So, maybe Shinichi was onto something.
I feel like maybe he might have been even felt a little bit of disappointment having written something that was technically ahead of its time and being delayed for so long getting it out. Like that he wasn't able to get this film out in distribution until well after that stuff had already picked up and gone. He's like, I already did this.
Yeah.
This is all on film. I just don't have any way to transfer it and get it out there. So
Right, and that's largely an artifact of this being a passion project, right? I mean,
Mm.
he took this on. He wrote it. He was the main actor, um, and just did a lot of the effects, the editing. So it was truly a labor of love. And when you are the only person spearheading that, it takes a long time.
I think he wrote it, directed it, basically funded the whole thing himself, and
Yeah.
Yep.
played
That's why
played
that's
himself
why
and his
it's
own father.
financing it as well is the problem, isn't it? When you are the one man show, at a certain point you might run out of money, and then you've got to wait then for that to catch up then as well to then continue doing it. And I think that was part of the problem once it came to the distribution side of things, that it was just I don't think he really realized how much money that side of things was going to cost, and was like, well, I've got this, like I said, I've got this wonderful film, but
Yeah.
I
I
feel
can't
like
do anything with it.
I feel like that's why a lot of people lean on YouTube right now for short films and
Mm,
stuff like that, because a lot of
yeah,
filmmakers, they have the passion to make their film, but they always hit a wall when it comes to distribution and figuring out how to get it out to the general public. So now you have like short YouTube videos, or you have shorts that they throw up like a series on TikTok or whatever, trying to get their stuff
yeah,
out there.
Hmm.
And there's miles and miles of stuff that you can see on Tubi that people are distributing themselves, and sometimes on Amazon that they distribute themselves.
yeah,
Uh,
Well, I mean, another big factor too nowadays is that we have things like Kickstarter, that when you have that following, you can actually raise those funds to continue on, right? I mean, we've interviewed people in similar positions. That just isn't a thing
yeah.
when Shinichi was working on this.
right. So technology and avenues of distribution have opened up vastly since 1995 when he first started doing this. So I guess those avenues just were not available to him back then. And DVR technology actually started, I think, hitting the markets back around when he decided to distribute it himself. That first 100 DVDs
Hmm.
that he put out into the world. So good on him for being passionate about his project and getting this goofy mess out here so that we could see it because I was laughing my ass off the entire time. And so, uh, you want to
And he
walk
seems
us through? Sorry, go ahead.
so I he seems genuinely nice as well. So when I wrote an article for this film for the Independent Horror Society, he actually reached out to me on Twitter and sort of said, "Oh, thank you for promoting my film. I'm glad you really enjoyed it and all this and that." And we ended up following each other on Twitter. You think how many people do that even these days without being some sort of intent behind it. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just he was like genuinely like, "Oh,
Right.
you really like
Yeah.
my film? Thank you." I was like, "Oh, you really like my film? Can you keep promoting it now every week for the next 10 months or something?" Do you know what I mean?
Right, right. And honestly, I can say that this particular film, had I not run across you in the Twitterverse, I would have never known about the film. It's not something that was on my radar. You brought it up to me, and I immediately looked it up. There were a couple of films you actually mentioned to me, and this was one of the top ones. And we I I'm sorry it took so long to get you onto the podcast to sit down and talk about it. Uh, I had intended life kind of takes you away. Summer work took me away, and now here I am. Here we are. Well, do me a favor. Walk me through some of your favorite moments of the film.
Um, I think some of the like I said, it is a little slow to begin with, considering the film is only just over an hour long as well. Um, but once the deadlights hit and the film really starts getting going, those are the moments that are brilliant. The scene with like the decapitation and the head stays, but the body drops. Little
Right, with the
things like that
shovel.
are just so perfect. And you kind of think, well, I mean, if you really sit and think about it, you can work out how they did it. But there is just something in that moment when you're watching the film going, how the fuck did they manage to do that? That is just awesome.
I would say that a lot of the practical effects that they did for this film remind me of Trauma Entertainment. Like I think that this guy, if he had managed to get a hold of Lloyd Kaufman, Lloyd would have extended an olive branch and helped him get his stuff distributed because this is the kind of stuff Lloyd loves. Somebody that can make a full length film with some of the I want to say I don't want to say best practical effects, but they were believable enough. They were fun enough to watch that it didn't take me out of the film. It made me laugh. It gave me a sense of joy watching it. It wasn't the most gory horror film that I've ever seen, but it was definitely entertaining.
Yes.
I've seen worse. I mean, I've watched oh good lord, what is the name? It's like Killer Nerd, which is a really bad kind of gory trauma film that was it looked like it was done primarily on a VHS camcorder.
So this was done on a Super 8 camera, I believe, which
Right.
is another sort of, you know, Raimi influenced, probably budget influenced decision as well. Raimi shot a lot of his earlier like short films and stuff on a Super 8. But yeah, there is a particular quality to the image in this film. It's very grainy, but I think that just kind of adds to the atmosphere here.
And if I'm not mistaken, like almost all of this film was done in his parents' home, which they were set
Yep.
to
Yeah.
tear down.
Yep.
Like it was at the point where they were going to tear it down, so they were just like, you know what, go ahead, film your movie in there, have fun. Do whatever you want.
They fuck shit
Which
up.
actually was, it was very much like the original Night of the Living Dead, where they filmed in a home that was set to be torn down. It's like, do whatever you
Mm.
need to, because we don't care what the condition of the place is. It's going to be torn down to the studs anyway.
Right. So if you're out there and you're looking to make a movie, find a place that's going to be demolished and work your way in.
Hey, just pay them just pay them a little
Yeah.
bit of money to delay the project. It's still
Right.
stuck. Make sure it's stuck structurally sound, that it's not a building you're like, hey, you know what, this has been condemned, we're going to tear it down. Don't walk into
Get
something dangerous.
right. Get permission, go through the proper channels, but it's worked for a few
If
people,
you don't
so it
want
might work
this
for
sort of
you.
like a Wizard of Oz scenario where the whole crew has now got asbestos poisoning because the place was condemned for asbestos. All the
Right.
cast and crew now are very, very ill.
We made the film, but now we have fibrosis of the lungs. One of us has cancer, but it was worth it.
Right.
No, we don't want that. That's a harrowing tale. It might get you distributed a little quicker. Like, hey, we almost killed ourselves doing this, literally.
Well, that's the
I want to.
John Wayne film, isn't it? I can't remember what John Wayne film it is, but they shot it near the test sites of the nuclear test sites, and basically about 85% of the cast and crew got cancer, including obviously John Wayne himself.
Well, that's either dedication or stupidity. Uh, we'll let the viewers decide which one that is. I mean, if you're really committed to the site, it's like, well, it's downwind of the place where they're doing all the nuclear bomb testing, but you'll be all right. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think they really realised the long-term effects of things like that, like at the time. But I think
Yeah, I
now, if
guess
they decided to, well, there, there'd be a
back
bit
in the
more.
back in the
Sure.
heyday of John Wayne, I guess, yeah. They may not have been thinking about it like, oh, well, we don't know whether or not it's fine. We dropped the bomb. Nobody seems to be hurt. Nobody was there.
Yeah.
So that might be a reason.
Right.
I think some of my favorite scenes in the film is this acting that Sinshi had to do, basically kicking himself in the face with an animated foot.
Yeah, I loved that. And Mika had a similar scene with a hand, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, or the sound effects that they used every time Mika punched this guy in the face.
Yeah.
The psychic that got turned into the Deadeye. You just got like, there was one time where she punched him once, and then another time was like a 6-punch combo to the
Yeah.
head on the hand.
Yeah. Yeah. The psychic was Mizuguchi. I think we get his name like once at the very beginning.
Okay, I didn't pick up. Like I said, I didn't pick up on the name of anybody outside of what is it, Mika and Sinchi. So I thank you for that. I didn't know.
Mizigu. I mean, my pronunciation is terrible, but it's like Mizuguchi or something.
Yeah.
It's okay. Well,
Mizuguchi.
I didn't hear it, so you guys have a better idea what's going on than I do in that particular vein. Plus, I've done a few. I don't want to say all the way Japanese films, but like there's a couple of films that we did prior. I think we did was it Snowpiercer, and there was something that was completely either Korean or Japanese that we did earlier on in the podcast, and I told Nico has a handle on the names with no problem. However, I told her, do not make me try to pronounce any of these names. I will butcher them. Okay. I have a tendency to butcher names that are said in English, let alone names
Right.
from other countries. So if you know, say it. Don't make me say it. She goes, oh no, I'm going to make you say it first, and I just correct you throughout the show. Okay.
There
Sure.
you go. Yeah.
Whatever entertains you. That I like a lot of what I feel is like claymation gore, like stop motion animation that they did with the gore throughout the film. The main ghost, the one at the very end, the kind of mangled abomination that was either the mistress or the mother, kind of reminded me of a mixture between the Leatherface Mask and Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he got any influences from or had any influences from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I kind of felt that in the design of the face. I enjoyed it
Yeah.
throughout. There was nothing that, like, other than just how slow it was between the initial murder and them getting into the rest of it. There was nothing that made me feel like this was dragging. It didn't make me feel like I was lost. I understood that there wasn't a lot of plot after we got past that bit of exposition at the beginning, and the rest was just them fighting whatever was in the house.
Yeah.
Or of course,
And I
the,
think
the
it
floating head that
so
was his
short.
dad.
I think it helped that it was so short, though, that it was about,
Yeah.
I think it's 65 minutes, something like that. It is just
Yeah, I think
literally
it
just
wasn't.
over an hour.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say it
Hour and a handful of minutes.
wasn't all
Yeah.
that long. I'm like looking up the time. We had an
Yeah, an
hour
hour
and
and some
two
change.
minutes, and this is with
Oh,
two
there you go.
scenes added back in after the original recordings, after the original I guess the original film was made a short while before he distributed it in 2012.
Hmm.
Like, was 2009? You said he finished it with those last two
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the reshoots. And I think actually he used his family as test audience, which influenced the decision to add in those couple of scenes.
Oh, okay, well then I can appreciate that his family gave him some positive feedback and said, "Oh no, it's fine. Just it is. Just do it. Do whatever. Just put it out like that."
I mean, the fact that they offered up the home for filming and, put up with, probably years of him working and talking about this, those are some good supportive parents.
Like, you've been doing this since 1995. Can you just put it out already?
Right.
Well, what do you think of it first, Dad? I don't care. Just put it out. It's great. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Just do
Yeah.
it.
Right. It is great and wonderful in its own right.
Is there anything you felt didn't particularly work with the film?
I mean, I think we touched upon the opening is a little bit slow, but I don't know how else you would have got into the film without having that beginning. But thankfully, they don't linger on that beginning too long before we get into the action. But that's the only thing that I felt as a filmmaker, maybe he didn't know how to start the film. He just wanted to do the action scenes. And the action
Hmm.
scenes are brilliant, and all the claymation and all of that. He just didn't know how to get into that. And but it's a small problem of the film.
I mean, that's probably just a problem of a budget and actual access to materials to do certain things. Uh,
Mm.
but
And I
I
have
see what
to
you're saying.
I have to imagine too, like when you are so into the Evil Dead that you're actually motivated enough to kind of build a new piece, taking some of that influence, you're probably starting with like, oh, this like shovel scene would be so cool. Let's do that, and then we'll have this head with a hand sticking out of it, right? Like you probably start there, and then you start to build the story around those action sequences. Is what I would imagine.
I think the only scene that I thought was a little over the top goofy is there's this one particular scene in, like, the middle of the film, nearing the end, where he gets hit and then has this long awkward tumble down the
Down the
hallway and
stairs.
then down the
Yeah.
stairs. I can appreciate that they didn't want to. I'm not a stunt man. I am not throwing myself down the stairs. Let's just try to figure out a way to make it look like I'm really worried, and then just show stairs.
I mean, I think that's part of the like slapstick Evil Dead kind of charm though. Like I think that was totally intentional, where they're like, this would be kind of stupid and fun,
Look, I'm
and went
finding
with it.
something to complain about. That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying is that I don't have a lot of complaints about this film because I know that this was influenced by The Evil Dead, and I remember the original Evil Dead.
yeah.
So there's
I think, for me, like Evil Dead in a lot of ways was really defined by the camera work. And this film, it's very close quarters, so they're working with what they can, but it's not the most like interesting in terms of cinematography, which, again, is fine. But I think that's sort of one space where it was a little limited. The bone to pick that I have with this film is that, and I looked at some photos of bodybuilders in Japan and, around this era. He's a fit guy, no hate to Shinichi here, and I'm not one to talk, but he's not the most bodybuildery for a film to be called
I
Bloody
actually
Muscle Bodybuilder.
I actually remember rattling off. I was talking
Amazing.
to Farah, who unfortunately was not able to join us for the episode today. She was going to hop on. She fell ill and was not able to join us today. However, I remember rattling off when I saw that scene. I said, I think I just watched basically Japanese Steve Urkel Hulk out and rip his shirt off. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah. I mean, like, look, don't get me wrong, he has muscle, but are we talking bodybuilder muscle? I don't know.
I didn't realize I had a visual for the mask that I was talking about.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I've been drinking out of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre like cup for the past like 20 minutes. So I had a visual that I could have just said, doesn't this kind of look like our main ghost,
It does.
Yeah.
hair and all?
But
I,
there is that line though as well that did make me laugh at that point where he goes, because I think he has the dumbbells at the time. He goes, "These are not my weapons. My muscles are my weapons," and you just like,
Yes.
oh, dude.
oh, his dad telling him, your weapon is in the basement. And he finds the gun first.
Mm-hmm.
The gun that he uses to basically blow apart different pieces of the body.
Right. Gets him kind of far.
Uh, well, I guess it got enough gore to resurrect the actual body of the girlfriend. I guess was absorbing the dead viscera throughout the house.
Mm-hmm.
Did we see him dispose of the necklace by the end of the movie? Because the necklace was the thing that basically brought her back to
Yeah.
life to begin with. It was like a possessed artifact that absorbed blood and funneled it into some kind of demonic energy for her bit of crazy. I'm not gonna let you walk out of here and be with that woman.
Mm-hmm.
And her mistaking Sinji for his own father, which is kind of accurate because they were both the same guy, both played by
Right.
the same guy. You look a lot like your dad. Well, that's because I am my own father.
Quick note too, though, he does say like the weights or whatever are my weapon. He does go back to using the gun. He's not afraid to still use it at the end. Um,
The the baton
And he
twirl
does
of
say
the
yeah,
dumbbells above his
as
head,
well.
oh, iconic.
or basically the javelin throw, just putting it through the monster's mouth and pinning it to the wall as she's trying to pull herself off of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah. Which is when he
fantastic.
uses the gun again. Which also, guns in Japan are very rare, very controlled, and so I thought it was funny when he said that like his dad was obsessed with guns.
I thought it was very entertaining that I always knew dad was obsessed with guns. There's one gun sitting in the corner of a room
Right.
with the handful of shells. And we
Yeah.
we fell into a very pre-2000s trope in this film too of the gun with the endless bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
there's no way
No
you're putting
reloading.
that many shotgun shells into. It took him less time to put shotgun shells, an entire bag of shotgun shells, into that gun, which you couldn't fit them in, than it took him to
Right.
disassemble the barbell while the ghost was sneaking up behind him.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. That's the only other thing that I have to complain about is him having to use the little key to undo the barbells while the ghost did the slow zombie walk behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So, least intimidating zombie ghost girl ever.
Well, I would be intimidating.
I mean,
Intimidated.
I'm more intimidated by the ability to reassemble her own body than I am the actual ability to move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's definitely strength, definitely an ability to reassemble itself, but apparently if you could get a good run, you could just run around the room and stay away from her.
Yeah, yeah. Some looping. Um, Speaking of muscle again, there's a scenes. It's like somewhere near the beginning or near the middle, where Shinji's moving a box and he's like kind of struggling. Uh, Again, is all right, bodybuilder, huh? Okay.
Right. Like it seems like his ability to move things or his actual strength, it's not there, but his girlfriend can land a couple of punches that just knocks this thing across the room.
Right.
She she is definitely the
Maybe she's the
bodybuilder.
bodybuilder. Yeah.
She,
She may be the bodybuilder and bloody muscle bodybuilder in hell.
she's like, "You've been lifting weights. What are you doing? I can knock this thing across the room. Are you good?" You st- I just got back into bodybuilding 6 months ago.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Not working, just
Um,
bodybuilding. And I guess he's not doing a whole lot of that. But so I did go back to see what happens with the necklace, and they just kind of leave it there in the
see,
house in a
it is open
pool
for a
of blood.
sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I do like the venom sucking out of her neck. Like she turns into one of the deadites. Mika
Mika.
turns into one of the deadites, and he just sucks the zombie or whatever bite fluid out of its neck, which is just this purple goo. He spits it back onto the floor, and she's miraculously alive again. She still has a rather large hole in her neck that is
Right.
bleeding. Maybe figure out a way to pad that up. So, all in all, I do not disagree with the rating that was given by IMDb about this film at all. It's a 6.2 overall for all its users. I'd say I'd give it about a 6.5. The quality is not obviously it's a 1995 film shot on Super 8, and the quality is not the best, but the intent, the humor, and the sheer enjoyment that Shinji Fukuzawa had making this film. Did I pronounce that correct? Shinichi?
Sounds good to me.
Shinichi.
Shinichi.
Yeah.
Shinichi.
Shinichi.
See?
Yeah.
Shinichi Fukuzawa. Take 5 seconds to sound it out, Chris. So it's acetaminophen. Uh, I've watched a couple people stumble over some basic words lately. I'm. It's always
And
entertaining.
you are not immune.
I'm not immune. I will never be immune to stumbling over names that I just look at and go, "There's a lot of vowels there. What am I doing?" Uh, so I can agree with the 6.5. I had a lot of fun watching this. I'm happy that you put it on my radar, put it on our radar. Uh, how do you guys feel about it?
Well, I'll say we get some great lines. Some of one of my favorites, I think, is "Hey assholes, you ain't human. Come get some." Before he starts blasting. Love
Right,
that.
right.
Um, and of course, we do get the very clear Evil Dead reference when he says "groovy."
There was also a kind of hail. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but there was sort of like a "Hail to the King, baby" kind of moment at the
Mm.
end, and he did something that was sort of
Oh,
a Terminator reference too, just before he like squashed the head underneath the barbell, which was "Sayonara, baby," instead of "Hasta la vista."
did you see I'll
Yeah.
see you in hell, baby?
Right. Yes. Yes. I feel like there was like a hail to the king kind of thing. Just the way that he presented it, you could tell he was trying to channel a little bit of Bruce Campbell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think he has some amount of like Bruce Campbell swagger going on here, especially near the end where he kind of, post Hulk transformation scene feels a lot more in control of the situation.
Yeah, because you need like backlit at that point as well, isn't it? So it's almost like, it is that hero stance, that moment, isn't it? It's almost like you'd mock it now, going, well, there's your poster shot.
Yeah.
So I do know there's one other film that Shinichi Fukazawa. I'll get it right one of these days. He was involved in another movie called Violator.
Right.
But I think he was an
Mhm.
actor within the film, not didn't have anything to do with the directorial process. Um, and so I'm very curious to go and find that and see that. I want to say video quality seems to be a little bit more on par, but it still looks like it was done possibly with uh, a body cam of some sort,
Hmm.
like a high definition body cam with a lot of scenes. So I don't know.
Right, because yeah, Violator was a more recent film.
That's 2018. Come on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Slightly lower rating on IMDb. All over the board here. It's got a 5.2. And only one actual physical review on IMDb, which is a 1 that somebody's saying it's the worst film they've ever seen in their entire life. So,
Right. So,
as we
you
all
know.
know, that is subjective. Some people can really enjoy some films that other people feel are just a waste of their time, and I definitely want to get a few people together with a couple of beers and maybe a few edibles and have them sit down and watch this. And
Yeah.
uh, how would you guys rate the film on a scale from 1 to 10? I'm removing that old scale that we were using, where I was basically lifting a little bit of creativity from a friend of mine. So
For me, it's, like a generous 5. So I appreciate the fact that this was ever even made and released in a way that we can be watching it now. You have to think about how many Evil Dead inspired movies or movies inspired by other horror that never make it to this stage. And so for it to actually come to a finished product is amazing in its own right and very respectable. Is it my favorite film? Not at all. I mean, I think that there are some small issues with it, but it's got a lot of heart. It's a fun watch if you like Evil Dead or splatter kind of movies. Like, you'll find a lot to love. The animations are silly, like very, flash style, um and lots of, kind of like claymation-esque moments. It's fun. And is it peak cinema? Absolutely not. But will you regret watching it? Also, probably not. So yeah, solid 5 out of 10 for me. And at an hour, it's like so easy to just say, sure, I'll throw it on.
right, it's a great thing. Maybe a precursor to a movie night. Just kind of throw this on for an hour while everybody's getting set up to watch a few things and kind of see how they
Yeah.
feel about it. Like, I guarantee you'll get a few people that'll just sit down and go, "What in the hell did you just put on?" And how would you rate it, Miss Story?
Um, well, I think I'd give it a little bit higher for two reasons. I'll probably go for a, a 7. Two reasons. One is, I love the fact that, he spent the time doing this film. He wanted to make it as perfect as he could and did a really good film. Yes, it's not an Oscar-winning film by any stretch of the imagination. But if you think of it like your fast food burger, it's satisfying for the moment, but you will crave something a bit more substantial later. And that is kind of what this film is. And you saying I've been a precursor to a film night is probably a great way to have it. It's your aperitif before you get into something
Yeah.
that's either a bit more intelligent. The second reason why I give it a boost is I've seen Bollywood Evil Dead. Yes, that does exist. And this is 100 times better than that film. So the fact that it's not Bollywood Evil Dead gives it an extra boost.
Oh God, you've given me something else to look up and watch. Uh, you know I'm gonna go hunt that down too. You can just send me a link and make it easy, because
Get
Oh,
ready.
I
You're
Bollywood
looking
Evil
at
Dead.
I go to horror cons every year and I find some of the most obscure DVDs, and yeah, that's where I got that. I have to watch yet. I also have the Turkish Shining, and I also have Turkish The Exorcist to watch. And apparently, the Turkish
I
Exorcist
feel like
is
I've
shot for shot. They've just removed all the Christianity and replaced it with Islam. So that will be an interesting watch at
Interesting.
some point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
is
have
there
also
such
seen.
thing as Islamic exorcists? Like, I thought that was sort of a Catholic
No.
thing. No,
Well,
okay.
no. So you have in both Judaism and Catholicism some form of belief of possession of the body, and therefore you would need somebody to expel the possession from the body. Islamic is not a faith I know so much about, but I don't think it is as prolific as it would be in more Judeo-Christian religions.
Okay, so you learn something new every day. I had absolutely no idea that there was a section of Islamic religion that actually revolved around the expulsion of demons.
Yeah.
And now I have to go look. You give me a few things to go look up. Hey, send me the names of some of these things. I know you got them on DVD, but maybe we can hunt them down somewhere in the freebie zone or physical copies that I can actually watch on a Region One Blu-ray player. Because
Yeah, or if you get the
It
multi-regional
does.
players, you can get them shipped over from the UK.
oh, I think Christian found something.
Yes. So it does look like Bollywood Evil Dead is on the Internet Archive
Oh, okay.
with English subtitles. I will say, buckle in. It's sitting at a 2.7 out of 10 on IMDb, 2 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Hey, this the 2 out of 5 seems like
I
a
like that.
higher rating, because that's like a 4. That would be like a 4 if you transferred that over to
Yeah,
IMDb.
a more discrete scale, I guess. I guess the Letterboxd heads have more of an appreciation.
I
Uh,
I feel like you have two types of people on Letterboxd. You have people that love to pick apart everything, and you have people that absolutely love the weirdest, most obscure stuff. Guess
yes.
which area I like to go look for.
Well,
It's not the people raving about the next Marvel movie. It's not that.
No.
well,
And it
Uh,
does have, in case you're wondering, Bollywood Evil Dead does have songs in it, just in case you were wondering. Does have
okay.
2 dance numbers in there as well.
it's
Well,
Bollywood. You got to have dance numbers. The dancing
right.
bit, you know.
There you go.
Got to have a little music, a little bit of a dance number. It wouldn't be a Bollywood film without it, I don't think. So,
Absolutely not.
isn't that like a prerequisite for a Bollywood film? Basically, there has to be a minimum of 1 to 2 dance numbers.
Seems it.
There's a few that I've seen that have just been back to back to back dance numbers with a little bit of action in between, which was weird. I think we watched like RRR or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That had like this. There's a lot of action in the film, but there was just this weird dance scene in the middle, and we're like, this just took me way out of it. Like I could have watched this whole film back to front with the action, and then they have this dance thing in the middle of it, and I'm like, why? It made me feel like have you ever seen a movie called Teen Witch?
No.
There's this
No.
goofy like 80s film called Teen Witch, which it basically revolves around a girl who gets her witch powers when she comes of age or whatever. It's almost like a Sabrina kind of knockoff thing. But there's this whole scene in the middle of it where her friend and this guy that she likes have this really half-assed rap battle against each other for no reason. Like you're watching this perfectly acceptable movie and they have, look it up, it's called uh Top That. You've probably seen
Sounds
like a reel of it or a meme of it somewhere. It was goofy as hell, but I'm not
does
saying
sound hard to
Is that
top
a
that.
Disney film?
what.
Is it a Disney film, Teen
I
Witch?
don't think it was Disney. I'm not, if I'm not mistaken. I think was it Paramount? Now I'm looking things up. Teen Witch, it's Robin Lively film, 1989. That was definitely not a Disney film. That looks like MGM Studios.
Yeah, okay.
So Blake Lively's sister back when she was a kid. Uh,
Hmm.
all right. Well, I think we found more to talk about with this movie than I had originally anticipated we would have. Because it's tough to talk about a film that doesn't have any discernible plot outside of the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Here's a question. Do you think Mika and Shinji get back together after this experience?
Hmm. That's actually a really good question. That could be the premise of the sequel, like trauma bonding
Yeah.
after the end of the
Yeah.
film. You know,
Hmm.
they or possibly she they both leave the building. They get in the car and on the ride home, they go. She just looks at him and she's like, "You really weren't a lot of help in there. You
Right.
almost got me killed. I don't know if I want to see you again."
Right.
It could go one of two ways.
Bodybuilding, huh?
Now, I had
Bodybuilding, sure.
Halloween season of the witch. You know when Tom Aikens is driving off in the car with the girl, and then it turns out that
Mm-hmm.
she is a robot. I'm thinking of that
Yeah.
sort of more kind of thing that is she's still actually part deadite, and halfway in the car journey
Okay.
home, she just turns on him in the car
Yeah.
and then just
Yeah.
dive
Yeah.
off a
Yeah.
cliff and explode because it's the 90s and cars would have exploded.
Right. Well, some do nowadays too. We call those Teslas, and
Hear me
it
out.
happens.
Hear me out. They could have filmed a little cut scene where the necklace, which seems to have been animatedly crawling around that house anyway, leaves the house and crawls into the tailpipe of the car and goes along with them.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
I like it. I like it.
The only thing that killing the woman did was basically allow the or free the entity or spirit which controlled the necklace from the
Mm-hmm.
actual house itself. And now we've let
Mm-hmm.
it set it loose on the world.
Right. Well, Shinichi, if you're out
Or is it
there
not?
and you're listening.
Or is it the? Oops, sorry.
Oh,
That's
yeah, no,
okay.
I was just gonna say, if you need some inspiration, we've got some for you.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things we need to get back to is just pitching like really weird sequels to films. Because I think you could work that in there. I mean, I'd say that's
Yeah.
like three different ways you can go right there. They stay together, they break up, or the necklace follows them, and now the world is
Or
exposed to the Deadites.
or
Or
they stay together. They have a child, and the child is part deadite.
Mm.
okay, now I'm seeing a couple of different things that you could go almost like a Rosemary's Baby kind of thing, or what is it?
Mm-hmm.
No, this
Oh,
is
look who's
film that I'm
talking
thinking
now.
of. The Evil Dead meets Look Who's Talking. Oh, good lord! Somehow the necklace ends up around the child's neck.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I found this nice little necklace. It looks like it'll fit the baby.
I mean, there could maybe even be a way to parallel the beginning of this film with
Mhm.
Shinji killing Mika, be it for, probably like for good intent because she's still a deadite or something like that. But yeah, there are lots of possible directions.
Mhm.
I'm seeing like have you seen From Dusk Till Dawn? And
Mhm.
Tom Savini's reactions when he realizes he's turning into a vampire and he's trying to hide the teeth, he's trying to, you know, to hide the bite mark
Yeah.
and everything. I can just see like us opening a sequel to her slowly turning into the Deadite and just like, oh no, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
So something of that nature. All right. So you want to give seeing as we're pretty much at the end of this episode, I think, if you'd like to give a plug for your book, so people can know where to find your compiled book of reviews.
So it is the A to Z of the So Bad They're Good, the Bad and the Ugly horror films, and it is available on Amazon at whatever country you are in.
Fair enough. I was able to find it over here with no problem whatsoever. Well,
Yeah.
thank you again. Well, I keep wanting to say Beverly, Stormy, either way, right? It works. That you, Stormy, if you're looking for her on social media. Uh, Beverly, if you're talking to her in person, right? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thank you for joining us today, bringing this movie to our viewing pleasure. I'm not even wording this correctly. My brain is completely drained this morning. Uh, and you can find our podcast on Spotify. We are on YouTube. We are pretty much wherever your favorite podcasts are found. And hopefully, I can get to be a little bit more coherent as the day goes on. As
Nice.
as our good friend Nico is very fond of saying, drink some water, you thirsty bitches. I've been trying to come up with something that's a little bit more anarchy based. But the last podcast, I tripped on my tongue and told people to drink a glass of anarchy, which just sounded fucking weird. So I was trying to go through an analogy of when life gives you some lemons, make lemonade, but it's like make anarchy. And I went from point A to point Q, R, and F. And I don't know. It just sounded weird. So, uh,
Certainly
you
chaotic.
know what? Best thing that I could say is one of the purest expressions of anarchy is to watch and listen to things that are absolutely unconventional, batshit crazy, and off the wall. So go out there, experience the unconventional, and have a little bit of anarchy in your heart, even if you're
Yeah.
not throwing caution to the wind and doing some other weird shit. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.